Okay, in this little video I'm going to talk about chicken feeders. So I've been keeping chickens my whole life. It's only a couple of years I can remember when we first moved into our first house where we didn't have chickens. Had chickens all through growing up. And there's some things I really look out for now on chicken feeders and how you feed them. I think it's really important. So I've got all the chicken feeders that I can find that I've got here at the moment. We have sometimes up to 50 chickens. It kind of fluctuates throughout the years really of what we've got and what we're breeding and what we're doing. But there's always some chickens and some ducks here. So thought I'd just go through them one at a time and show you what I like about different things, what I don't like, and what I've moved on to now really. So starting off, obviously when you've got chicks, having a little trough is ideal. The first few days I normally just give them some food in an egg box, and I find that's fine. But this is brilliant when they get a bit bigger. Obviously it's got to be protected from the weather because it can get wet easily, and also you want to protect it from rats and things like that. There's no kind of protection from that, but it works really well just for a couple of weeks for young chicks. Then going on, I do use these quite often. These are really good if you're doing any soap grains. If you're in a country where you can still feed kitchen scraps and things like that, you can use this. And I like it, easy to clean out. And when you've got a lot of chickens, it means a lot of them can feed at once. So if we have meat birds, sometimes I use one of these to put some in there before I fill any hoppers or anything that kind of do constant feeding, saves a bit of squabbling. And then galvanized feeders. Galvanizing doesn't seem to be done the same way anymore. So I look out for old galvanized feeders. And I really like these. This one here is not quite so good because you have to kind of wobble it to get it to come apart. But it still works all right. How about on a stone slab or something? The downside is you have to make sure they've only got enough that they can eat at that point, because obviously rats and mice can get in it. And the last thing you want to be doing is encouraging them. I'm really partial to these ones now. Actually, this one's got some food in. But it comes off, the top comes off with a nice twist. And what I tend to do is have it hung in a chicken pen, so it can hang there. And then what I will often do is lift it up at night and hang it inside the pen, out the way of any pests or anything like that. As you can see, I've got two sizes of these. These work really well when you've got some birds kind of growing on. This one's huge, so great for if you're doing a batch of meat birds or something like that. Another one I've done over here, and I've kind of gone past this one now really. These were kind of great for a while. If you've got a lot of birds, especially if they're free ranging and outside. The spring feeders, so as they peck it, food comes out. There's a little bit of wastage with these, not huge amounts. Some will drop on the floor and they won't pick it up. It's great for grains and things like that, but it's loved by game feeders. They feed their pheasants with them, and that's what I found. If I use those, there's a lot of shoots around here, and I found that I ended up feeding about 10, 12 pheasants every day as well, and they just peck at it constantly, and I'd have no food for my chickens, so it ended up costing me a fortune. So I kind of moved away from those, although I do think they're quite a good way to feed birds, especially if you're in a pen or something, keeps them active, gives them something to peck at. But what I've moved on to now is treadle feeders, and I must say that not all treadle feeders are kind of built the same. So initially went for this type of treadle feeder, and it nearly put me off. It's not great. It's got plastic base, plastic top, and I found that the first night I put it out, I was having a bit of issues with some rodents and things. And the first night I put it out, you can see that the rats chewed through the base, or some of the base, to try and get at the food in there. They can smell it in there. It doesn't work very well with the chickens as well. There's not much they can get at. I find that it does get a bit wet in there as well. It's just not a very good treadle feeder, unfortunately. It's half the price, well, under half the price of a grandpa's feeder. Is it half as good? No. I literally don't even use that one anymore. I should sell it really. This is the one I've moved on to now, the grandpa's feeder. I bought one of these. They are expensive. I think they're about £120. But I bought one to try it, and within a week I bought two more for my different chicken pens. They keep the rats away, they keep the mice away, nothing else can get at the food. They take about 10 kilos of food in the top hopper there. Really easy for me to fill up. And then the treadle, it takes a few days to train them up. It's got some holes in the side which let you put some bolts in there, so it's open for a few days and chickens learn where the food is. But it's brilliant. I use these now. The ducks use them as well. Inside They sometimes have a grid. This one I've used for the ducks actually, so I've taken the grid out because their beaks are a bit wider and they can't quite get in the grid. But the grid stops the chickens scratching it around, especially if you mix your feed. I do kind of a 50-50 mix of pellets and wheat, and I find that if I've got the little wire mesh in there, nothing gets spread out or wasted. The only downside is that chickens do sometimes stand on the top and poo on it, but it's just something you've got to kind of keep on top of, make it kind of so it's not nice to stand on top of in a pen. Is probably the best way to deal with it. But I find this is the absolute best one. I've got 3 of these, and I'm going to buy a 4th for some more chickens I've got coming this week. So if I had to do it again, I probably wouldn't bother with most of these. Not great for chicks and stuff, so obviously you've still got to start smaller. And if you're doing a big number of animals, then having a big feeder that a lot of chickens can get at once is quite essential. But this is great for kind of like 5 or 6 birds in a pen. They can have the food when they want it. We went away in the summer. My neighbours looked after the place, and I put enough food in there for the 7 days that we were away. The neighbours didn't have to feed them. All they had to do was check they got food, check they got water, and it made their job a lot easier, and made me feel a bit better as well, knowing that they weren't having to carry food around and feed them. So yeah, I think these are the top drawer kind of chicken feeder, and one I'd definitely go for now. I spilled a bit of food on that when I was moving it, so that's why she's going for that. She's not a light Sussex, she's a Colombian Plymouth Rock. And she's such, I've got 2 of them and they're such beautiful birds. I wish I could find a cockerel for it. Friendly, really calm, they lay really well, produce, and when crossed with an Indian game they produce a really big bird, which is why I got them. But yeah, just a nice chicken.